You are staring at a bright birthday cake, 3 glowing candles. Your parents are cheering loudly in the background. It feels warm, safe, and vivid. This is your earliest, most precious memory, the foundational brick in the architecture of your identity, the moment your conscious life supposedly began. Except, it is a complete and utter lie. You do not remember that day at all. Your brain just made it entirely up. You are actually just remembering a photograph you saw when you were 7, neatly stitched together with stories your parents told you over time. Think about it. You can remember random, terrible pop song lyrics from a decade ago, or that embarrassing thing you said in high school. But the first 3 or 4 years of your life? Completely wiped from your mental hard drive. Why did your brain actively delete your childhood? Welcome to childhood amnesia. Studies consistently show that the average adult has exactly 0 genuine episodic memories from before the age of 3.5. If a computer randomly deleted its root operating files, it would crash immediately. In the tech world, we call that a catastrophic hardware failure. Yet, your brain, the most advanced biological supercomputer on Earth, did exactly that. And it did not do it by accident. It actively hunted them down. The obvious guess is that babies are simply bad at remembering things. Their brains just aren't fully developed enough to hit the record button. Absolutely wrong. A 2-year-old actually has an incredible sponge-like memory. They learn complex language, faces, and motor skills vastly faster than you ever could. Maybe the memories just naturally faded over time, like an old photograph left out in the sun. Also incorrect. They didn't just fade. Research shows that children can remember their toddler years perfectly fine until they hit about age 7. That is when the great neural purge suddenly begins. Round that specific age, a massive biological demolition crew moves into your hippocampus and starts ruthlessly tearing up the floorboards of your mind. So, why did your brain commit this act of developmental vandalism? To understand why you lost your past, we need to look at the construction site. This flat pink blob is your hippocampus. Think of it as the printing press of your brain, actively turning short-term experiences into permanent long-term memories. When you are a toddler, this factory is working in absolute overdrive. You are learning how to walk, how to eat, how to survive. But there is a major structural catch. The hippocampus has limited physical space. It simply cannot store every single time you drooled on the carpet. To a biological phenomenon called neurogenesis. In 2014, neuroscientists led by Paul Franklin discovered something fascinating while studying the memory patterns of baby mice. Turns out, just like human babies, infant mice also suffer from severe childhood amnesia. They completely forget the simple mazes they learned days ago. Franklin's team found that infant brains are constantly churning out millions of brand new neurons at a staggering, explosive, and highly disruptive rate. Think of your baby brain like a small dirt road. It works fine for a slow, crawling infant learning basic physics. But to become a highly functional, walking, talking adult, your brain needs a massive, high-speed, multi-lane neural highway to process complex incoming data. So, the biological construction workers bring in the heavy machinery. They violently pave over the old dirt road to quickly build the new highway. Those brand new neurons aggressively push their way into the existing circuits, disrupting and breaking the fragile connections of your earliest memories. Your first birthday party, your favorite baby toy, the time you ate dirt. They weren't just forgotten. They were biologically bulldozed. It was a brutal but necessary evolutionary trade-off. You literally had to destroy your past in order to build your future. This is exactly why your brain relies on photographs and stories from your parents to reconstruct a fake version of those years. Your brain essentially patches the massive holes in the neural highway with whatever scraps of visual information it can find lying around the house. But here is the million-dollar neurological question. Are those original baby files truly deleted from your hard drive forever, or are they just encrypted? The answer lies in how human memory is actually filed. To securely save a complex file, you desperately need a language to name it. For the age of 3, you experience the universe as a chaotic, beautiful, and terrifying stream of raw, unfiltered sensory data. Try saving a Word document on your laptop without typing a file name. It won't let you. It needs a structured folder system. Your baby brain simply did not have the basic linguistic folders, words like I, me, or yesterday, to neatly package those life experiences. So without words to anchor them, the autobiographical story files were permanently trashed. But that absolutely does not mean your body forgot. Deep next to the hippocampus sits another structure, the amygdala. Think of it as the highly paranoid, over-caffeinated security guard of your brain. The amygdala does not care about narrative arcs or your cute birthday parties. It only cares about survival, threats, and intense emotional responses. Let's say a giant, terrifyingly loud dog barks aggressively at you when you are exactly 2 years and 3 months old. Your hippocampus, busy bulldozing the floor to build new language highways, sweeps the specific visual memory of that dog straight into the garbage. But your amygdala? It instantly prints out an emotional danger receipt and aggressively staples it to your nervous system for the rest of your life. Is the biological equivalent of a stubborn accountant keeping all the tax records long after the original company has completely burned to the ground. This is exactly why, 20 years later, you might have a completely unexplainable phobia of dogs, even though you never had a bad experience. Or why the random smell of a very specific cheap brand of soap instantly makes you feel incredibly safe, warm, and protected. Your brain ruthlessly stripped away the plot, deleted all the characters, but permanently kept the raw, unfiltered emotional soundtrack of your childhood. Which brings us to a rather unsettling, philosophical realization about the exact nature of the person you currently call you. Biologists and philosophers love to debate a fun little puzzle called the Ship of Theseus, applied directly to your own brain. If your brain physically grew entirely new neural highways and permanently deleted the original experiential files from your first 3 years, are you actually the exact same person as that baby in the photographs? Or are you just a squatter living in their body? Neurologically speaking, you could argue that the adult version of you is essentially a highly successful biological serial killer. Completely overwrote the original tenant. You stole their hard-earned language skills, their motor functions, and their deeply wired emotional traumas. And then you threw the original kid in the mental incinerator to make room for your own stuff, like calculus, taxes, and anxiety. We walk around every day believing we have a perfectly continuous, unbroken timeline of consciousness from birth to the present moment. But in reality, your identity is just a messy highlight reel stitched together by a highly unreliable, biased narrator. A narrator who constantly goes back and edits the Wikipedia page of your life just to make you look like the main character. So why did evolution design this completely brutal, self-deleting system? Why not just give us a massive, fully functioning hard drive right from birth? Because a giant, fully developed adult brain cannot physically fit through a human birth canal without causing a disaster. To survive, we have to be born half-baked. Our brains must do their most aggressive growing and neural rewiring while we are already out in the world. Which leads us to the ultimate, heartbreaking evolutionary trade-off. A realization that completely changes how you view your past and your present self. That baby lived purely in the present. They experienced the raw, beautiful universe entirely, without the heavy burden of language, time, or anxiety. But to become a highly intelligent creature capable of planning for the future, you had to completely sacrifice your own past. Truth is, your current identity is built entirely on the unseen, bulldozed ruins of that tiny toddler. Without them giving up their mental real estate, you wouldn't have the storage capacity to learn, love, or survive today. They did all the brutal heavy lifting of figuring out basic physics, gravity, and language just so you wouldn't have to. So let's go back to that original birthday cake photograph we looked at. The one with the 3 glowing candles. When you look at that old picture, you really shouldn't feel a sense of loss or feel angry about the deception. Sure, your brain completely lied to you about actually remembering the exact taste of the frosting or the sound of cheering, but it lied to protect you. It actively deleted those files to save you from a paralyzing neurological data overload. Childhood amnesia is not a glitch in your biology or a sign of a weak mind. It is the ultimate survival feature. It serves as the invisible biological bridge between the raw, instinct-driven animal you were born as, experiencing chaotic sensory data, and the highly intelligent, future-planning human being you eventually had to become to survive. The next time you look at a baby picture of yourself, do not feel sad that you cannot remember being them, because they had to be completely and permanently forgotten just so that you could be here right now. Of course, human memory remains one of science's greatest and most elusive mysteries. The exact mechanisms are still being explored today. History is always rewritten when new evidence emerges. Some details in this video are hypotheses researchers are still actively debating, and that makes exploring the past a never-ending journey. Subscribe to Primal Mind, where we decode the strange origins of human behavior. And next week, we will dig up another mystery.